somebody is setting up a new payroll system or setting up payroll in a new software for a client, and the hire dates were never put in the other platform, but the platform that they're moving to, hire dates is a required field. And the hiring records are very disjointed, and they're not finding hire dates for a lot of people. So they're asking, what can they do if they can't find the exact date? And it it really depends on what the hire dates are used for. If they're not used for anything, like it sounds like they're not really used for anything in the payroll software. So, what what I do when I'm setting payroll up and we don't really know exactly what the hire date is, or we're just doing a reconstruction and we don't care what the hire date is because we're not using it for um like their PTO accruals or anything like that, because that's usually what hire dates are used for, is the PTO accruals. So what we do is we put in 0101, and if we're setting it up in 2026, it would be 01/01/26 as the hire date, because it doesn't matter. It just has to be at the beginning of the year, because some payroll softwares will flag if somebody is getting paid before their hire date. Um, a lot of systems will default as the day that you're entering the employee is the hire date. And if the payroll software, it really doesn't matter what you put in as the hire date, I guess, is like the, if, especially in this situation where hire dates were not already put in the software that they had. Um, but it is a good practice to put in the hire date as the first day that the employee starts to work. Sometimes it'll be the sometimes the only date you have is the date that they signed the paperwork. Sometimes people will have the employees fill out the paperwork ahead of their first day of work, but most common it is to fill out the W-4, the I-9, the state W-4 equivalent on the first day that they work. Because if somebody doesn't show up for the first day of work, then you don't have any paperwork sitting around that you are actually required by law to hang on to. So let me know if you guys have any questions on that. And the other question that we're going to cover today is I have a situation that I haven't dealt with before. My client uses QBO Payroll and is on semi-monthly schedule. And the problem for the upcoming run is one employee is going to have a wage increase, but only for 2 days of the pay period. How do I facilitate that in QBO? Should I create a separate pay type that can be entered into the timesheets? They use native timesheets in QBO, not QB time. And there was a question that was posed, why would someone change the rate in the middle of a pay period? It seems odd. And it is because they're because it's a semi-monthly pay schedule, their job duties changed in the middle of the pay schedule, but at the beginning of a different week is what the original poster came back in and said. And my thought is, what we normally will do, as long as the client is okay with it, calculate the difference between the old rate and the new rate and call it a bonus or something along those lines. Sometimes if the client isn't okay with, doing the difference as a bonus, we'll run one payroll at the old salary and a second payroll at the new salary. And of course, go in and make all the requisite updates to the employee record, because it sounds like this one went from being hourly to being salary in the middle. And a lot of software has trouble when you've got hourly and salary in the same paycheck. So sometimes that's what we do. We'll either, add it as a bonus as long as, and put a note in the paycheck so that we know years from now, if anybody ever questions it, why we did what we did on that paycheck. But if they're not okay with it being treated like a bonus, then what we'll do is run two separate paychecks. We'll run one paycheck for the partial period at the old rate, go in, make all the updates to the payroll record, and then run the second paycheck for the second partial period at the new rate. So, and the other alternative, which isn't one of my favorite things to do, is to create a new pay type. But sometimes it makes sense. Like if there's a lot of turnover in the company for the position, and you think it's going to be something that gets used frequently in the future, then create a new pay type so that it's a lot easier to make the change going forward. So and let me know if you guys have any questions on that.